Welcome, everybody. It is so nice to have you and your families. And today, everybody, this is it. Our speakers have been working for months to perfect their 5-minute message. Many of you have probably heard their message numerous times at home, on the phone. They've called you to ask for advice. But today is it. You get to see their final performance all put together. And with that, we're going to get the show started with our very first speaker. You might know him from being a Pittsburgh Steeler. He's got tons of energy, and for as good of a player as he was on the field, everybody, he is even a more inspirational speaker. To kick off Last Story Standing 2026, please welcome Mr. Charlie Batch.
What if somebody was to tell you that greatness doesn't come from this room? How would you take that? If they're talking about your family, your business, maybe the neighborhood that you came from. Do you believe that? Or do you start challenging that lie? But here's the one thing about dreams. Dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action, and sometimes you may be the only person that can see your vision. At the age of 7, I told people that I wanted to become a professional football player. And of course, they all laughed at me. But in some cases, you do get the last laugh. Playing 15 years and winning 2 Super Bowls, that is awesome. But this was in the past. But let me take you a little further in the past to show you why I do some of the things that I do today. February 18th, 1996, I was at Eastern, Michigan, and I received a phone call from my mother, and she's telling me I needed to come home. And I said, Mom, why am I coming home? And at this particular point, I'm packing a bag full of nothing because I really had no idea what I was coming home for. So I said, Mom, please tell me why I'm coming home. Now, back in 1996, you didn't have these cell phones like you do today. You had these little things called a beeper. And at that particular point, I said, Mom, I can't be in the middle of Detroit and Pittsburgh and not knowing why I'm coming home. I said, Mom, please tell me why I'm coming home. And with the deepest swallow that I've ever heard in my life, my mother said, Charlie, your sister's been shot and killed. I'm like, what? So I get on the road and I'm flying down the Ohio Turnpike. I have no idea what I am going home for. What was I getting into? So when I get to Pittsburgh and I go down 279, I go to downtown Pittsburgh, I get to Homestead exit. It's pitch dark, and at the end of the bridge, I go up the hill 3.5 blocks, I make a left on a road that I'll never forget. And it was called East Laurel Way. So when I get there, I see yellow tape, so I know something happened. So I'm looking around, and I get to a spot, and I see blood, and I know this is real. Now, I live 3 blocks away from here. I get home, and all of my friends are waiting on me. They said, Charlie, we know who did this. Let's go get him. And I said, ultimately, if I'm going to make a decision that's going to change the rest of my life, I need to know what happened. And literally gathering the information, the story essentially goes like this. My sister was walking down the street from a friend's house. She got caught in crossfire between rival gangs, and the guy that she was with used her as a body shield. Danielle was only 17 years old. She never had an opportunity to live life. And at that moment, I said, if I was ever in position to give back, I would. So I put all my time and energy to graduate, and then hopefully being drafted by one of those 32 teams. I was drafted by the Detroit Lions in 1998. And then immediately after that season, January of 1999, is when we started the Best of the Batch Foundation. We did some one-off programs in Detroit. And when I got here to Pittsburgh in 2002, I thought it would be my only season. So for us, as we redirected our foundation goals, we wanted to create something that was going to tire kids out. So we did so by creating a basketball league. We had 125 kids, 25 volunteers. By the next year, we were over 300 kids and over 100 volunteers. So we knew we were on to something. So just imagine creating a basketball league, which we ran for 18 years. And we had one community coming over to Homestead, another one, and literally in 18 years, we've only had one fight. And that was 2 little girls fighting over a little boy that they claimed that they were going with. So I'm like, if that's the worst that can happen, I will take that all day. And ultimately, as we continue to now create programs and ultimately getting to a spot where we had 5,300 square feet, creating educational programs, our goal was to say, you want to know what? Let's see how we could become bigger. To go from 5,300 square feet, our goal was to go to 33,000 square feet. And for us to be able to do that, it took a lot of relationships, a lot of partners, and the vision to help create this happen. And ultimately, we opened up April of 2025 with a ribbon cutting to now go to 33,000 square feet. And we serve over 4,000 kids annually in southwestern Pennsylvania. But without that resiliency moment, I couldn't tell you that we would be doing the things that we are doing now. But as we evolve, and everybody kept asking me, Charlie, I would be mad if I was you. And my response eventually said, well, are you mad? And they said, yes. But I said, it's not for the same reason that I am. I am mad because at Best of the Batch Foundation, we are making a difference. So I challenge you all, as we learn it through education, we earn it through labor, it is our responsibility to return it back to our community. So I invite you, join me in being mad. Thank you.
What a great opening message from Mr. Charlie Batch, and we're going to keep the show moving. This is our first contestant that is going to be here, Ms. Twanda Clark Edgell. When a voice is muted, a life can shrink, but when a voice is heard, a life can expand. For more than 25 years, she's worked in child welfare and youth development, helping young people, many of whom were told to stay silent, discover the own power of their own voice. She is the founder of Light Social Change Agents. Please welcome Ms. Twanda Clark Edgell.
Do you stick to the fight when you're hardest hit? Or do you just throw up your hands and decide you're gonna quit? Or maybe you use it as an opportunity to recommit. If you had been with me 30 years ago when I started my first social work job, I was wearing that invisible S, prepared to save the world, until the phone rang. The phone rang, I pick it up, and it is Mrs. Lafferty on the other end. Hello, Tawanda, this is the network. Yes, Tawanda, this is Mrs. Lafferty. I'm gonna need your help today. I have 2 children that I'm trying to place. They're 9 and 10 years of age, and they are beautiful girls. Brilliant, bold, and intelligent. You think you can find a home for me by the end of the day? Absolutely. I hang up that phone, and with my invisible ass, I prepare to call that foster parent registry. I pull it down, and I look on that list, and I start making calls. And I make that first call. Hello, Mrs. Brown. This is Tawanda from the network. Yes, I have 2 girls, 9 and 10 years. No, you're not interested. Okay, thank you. No? No? 17 no's in a row. That S on my chest was beginning to fade, and I was just about ready to quit. And then I remembered something that Mrs. Lafferty said. She said that they were bold, brilliant, and intelligent. I was leading with their circumstances, and that didn't define them. So I picked up that phone. I called the next person on that foster parent registry, and I said, hello, is this Miss Burnett? I have 2 beautiful girls, and they need a family that's not going to give up on them. They're bold, brilliant, and intelligent. 9 and 10, and I need 2 separate homes. You can do it, and your sister can too. I hung up that phone, and just like that, I thought I had saved the day. Da, 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 da. But I had learned that the true lesson I hadn't just learned yet. I get to the school, and I'm prepared to pick up the girls, and they're coming down, 9 and 10, Ashley and Amanda, with these big, beautiful braids, smiles that can lighten up a room, and I tell you, they're neatly dressed in their school uniforms, blue T-shirts and beige khaki pants. We go out to the car, and I can hear them as we're going to the car say something like, you know what, she could be your aunt. And I laugh, and I say, that's right, I'm cute enough to be your aunt. And it's like, Amanda says no. It's just that nobody knows we're in foster care. We've all had that need to want to belong. We get to the foster home, and just as I'm about to knock on that door, the foster parent, she cracks open the door, and she says, everything you need is right there in that bag. And I say, everything I need is right there in that bag, and I'm looking for a duffel bag or a book bag or some type of a school bag, and excuse me, everything you need is right there in that bag. And before I could think about it for too long, Amanda jumps up, grabs that black garbage bag that was sitting in the corner, and she dumps the contents of everything in that bag out on the sidewalk. Ashley comes right over and she begins to say, hey, look, you take this blue sweater because it always look good on you. And here, this is the teddy bear that Grandma gave you before she died. And here, you look better in the gold shoes than I do. See, the garbage bag didn't define the value. It was inside. So when life gives you a trash bag, how do you define the value? Now, I wish that I could tell you that I knew what happened to Amanda and Ashley that day, but I don't. Life went on and I moved on, but what I do remember is what she said in the car before she got out. Clearly, she was the expert, and I said, what do I tell foster parents? I'm new at this, and I don't know what to say. She looked me dead in the eye, and she said, tell them, don't quit. So I ask you this, when life is handing you a garbage bag full of stuff, do you determine the value, or do you just give up and quit? When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, we have to make the decision that we stick to the fights when we are hardest hits. And it's in those times that we don't quit, we recommit.
Twanda, that was inspiring. And when you say don't quit, could you share a little bit about what it means to be resilient to you?
So what it means to be resilient to me is that I spent over 30 years in child welfare, and there were many times that I wanted to give up and I wanted to quit. But that moment on the concrete, on the sidewalk, is a moment that I never forgot. And so because of that, I've been able to start an organization called Light Social Change Agents. I've been able to place over 100 children in forever families. And I've had the opportunity to help young people use their voice. So don't quit.
Thank you very much, Ms. Twanda Clark, everybody. Over 100 students in forever families. Twanda's somebody that truly lives out her message and her passion. You can see it through her talk today. Our next speaker is Mr. Jackson Kirchis. He's the founder of Happiness Means Business and a Warrior Leader Companies. Jackson is a former Zen monk and a startup executive who created the first world's major in happiness. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Jackson Kirchis.
I'm flying into Austin, Texas, on one leg, torn ACL, just like I am today. It was one of those days that felt like anything that could go wrong did go wrong. We're talking canceled appointments, canceled flights, delayed flights, emergency surgical consultations. I'm thinking to myself, I just want to get to Austin. I just want to get to my hotel. I want to get to my keynote. I just want to be done. One of those days, And it felt like all day I was just a little bit ahead or a little bit behind, Get to the airport, get to the connection, get to the Uber, or thinking about, why me? Why this have to happen? Are they going to give me the refund? Are they going to do this, that, the other thing? So I get there. It's about 11:30. Airport's ghost town. I got to be on stage the next day at 8 a.m. I just want to get out of here. It's me and one other woman, bless her heart, but she was old. She ain't going anywhere. We're waiting for wheelchair service. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. No one. I'm so miserable, so frustrated. In that moment, I'm thinking to myself, well, what am I here to do? I'm giving a speech tomorrow on happiness after all. It's kind of something. And so I thought about what I always say, anxiety's in the future, depression is in the past, be where your feet are. I talk about letting go of the conditions you place on your happiness. In other words, yeah, I want to be happy as long as my flight's on time. I want to be happy as long as I make it to the hotel. And I talk about relationships, how the best way to pursue happiness is to spread it. So I thought about this, I stood up. I looked at this woman, I said, "You want to get out of here?" She said, "Sure." She stood right up. She picked up my big duffel bag. She could barely lift it. She's like, "Oh, no, I insist." She puts it on top of her roller bag, but it's like fallen off on one side. So I have my 2 crutches in my left hand. I'm holding up my duffel bag, which is on top of her roller bag. She has the roller bag in the left hand, and we are moving in the world's slowest 3-legged race through the Austin airport. Real speed reenactment. About 1 mile per hour. I'm thinking to myself, if there's any employees here tonight, they are in for a show. About 20 minutes go by. We're talking, anxiety in the future, depression in the past, let go, spread happiness. I'm thinking, man, she got the whole keynote. She didn't have to pay for the conference. Finally, we get to ground transportation, and we're ready to head our separate ways, but she kind of taps me on the shoulder. I look back, and she says, "Jackson, just like you, today I was so frustrated, so stressed out. I just wanted to be done. I was so worried, but, talking to you for a few minutes here really changed my perspective." And I thought to myself, not bad, Jackie boy. That's why you're the keynoter, right? I didn't say that. I said, "Thank you. I'm not perfect, but I'm glad it helped." And I went to leave again, and same thing. I get a little tap on my shoulder. I looked back this time and saw a single tear coming down her cheek as she told me, "You see, Jackson, 5 months ago, I lost my husband of 55 years. I thought about all the trips we took together where we were just a few hours ahead the whole time. Get to the airport, get to the hotel, we missed the trip. I thought about how many times we sat down to dinner together, but because of something someone said that day, we weren't even at dinner. I thought about my granddaughter who's coming to pick me up tonight. How many moments with her, I was so worried about what she was going to do or what she didn't do that I missed out with her, and boom, just like that, she's your age." She said, "Jackson, I'm 85 years old. I wish someone would have told me what you did when I was your age." She said, "Don't ever stop telling people that message. Anxiety's in the future, depression's in the past. Be where your feet are. Let go and spread happiness." Thank you.
Mr. Jackson Kirchis, everybody. Jackson was great. He said, I should stand right on the X. I said, "You're perfect. You were there the whole time, my man." That was awesome. Could you share with us, you're traveling today, you love speaking, and tell you love to share messages.
Yeah.
Where did you first become this talent? Where did it come from?
Talent. I sometimes say I've been speaking for about 4 or 5 years now, and I think to myself, man, I'm finally just getting kind of good at this. Kind of crazy. But for me, started in college, I created this major. I said to myself, well, what do I want to do with my life? I want to study happiness, but, I don't want to be a professor, and the Zen monastery actually didn't pay very well. So I said, heck, I'll start speaking. And so I did. My first speech was a 20-minute Zoom for a group of door-to-door salesmen. They paid me $5 so that I could say it was a paid speech. And now here we are. I'm flying to South by Southwest tonight. So,
well, congratulations. Have a great trip and keep doing what you're doing. I think he's fulfilled his dream there. Everybody, Jackson Kirchis, everyone.
Thank you.
We have no excuses. Jackson's on crutches. He made his way through the parade, and he somehow made it here. So everybody, whatever happens tomorrow, just let's get out of bed and make it happen, right? We're going to keep the show going. Our next speaker is Dr. Deborah D. Stein. She is the founder of Science and Technology Policy Academy. Something interesting about Deborah is that she used to climb smokestacks just to check out how much air pollution they were emitting. Please welcome to the stage Dr. Deborah D. Stein, everyone.
So, Houston, we have a problem. And that's famous line, which is from the astronaut said from outer space, is what many people think about our society today. That we have many societal challenges facing our communities, and we just don't know what to do about it. So I'd like you to take a moment and think about some societal problem that you care about. It could be energy, the environment, jobs, the economy, AI. there's more than we can possibly count, but I want you to think about the ones that you care about, the ones you care about that are in your community and in your town. I'd like to tell you about my first activity that was in science technology policy that became my career. I was a high school student in Texas, and I would go to the beach along the Gulf of Mexico, and I would go, and there would be spots of oil on my swimsuit. There'd be oil on the beach. And I cared about cleaning up that oil, and I conducted research as a high school student, sponsored by the National Science Foundation, to try to figure out ways to clean up that oil. Years later, I was in the White House, and right next door to me were people also trying to figure out ways to clean up oil. In this case, they were able to bring that scientific technical knowledge to help respond to the BP oil spill. So then I went and I worked for Congress, and in Congress I learned something, that facts and figures were not enough, that instead you also needed to have stories, that no matter how many facts and figures that we gave, there was the stories that people remembered. And so I started to think to bring all that together. And I've created this way to respond to societal challenges, which are the 3 S's. So they are, first, skills. So somebody like myself, who's an engineer, who's an analyst, we have skills that we can bring to whatever societal problem it is that we care about. But everybody has stories, their lived experiences, and they can bring those to that place that they care about. And the third S is spaces. We all live in communities. It could be geographic communities. It could be communities that we are a part of, maybe people who have some sort of health challenge. And we need to bring those stories and relate them to the spaces where we live, because that's where policymakers themselves are. So when we bring all these elements together, we can have an impact. So for example, I just did a report this year for an organization called Reimagine Appalachia, and it's about how to take waste heat from AI data centers and do something with it, something useful for the community. For example, we could take greenhouses and grow food for the people in West Virginia who don't have food or who are in food deserts. We can also do things that are related to people's stories. I was at the University of Virginia giving a workshop there, and one of the students told me about her grandmother who had to leave her home because her well was contaminated with PFAS, known as forever chemicals. Then we also have spaces. So a student I worked with a number of years ago was from Minneapolis, and when she was there as a student, she suffered the impact of tear gas from the George Floyd protest. She wrote an article in Scientific American, and I thought about that again as we had tear gas being used in Minneapolis because of the protest against the ICE activities there. So I'd like you to think about that, go back to that societal problem that you care about, and think about what it is that you'd like to do. One of the challenges we have today is that there's a decrease in the confidence in scientists. It's decreased 10% among all Americans and 20% among Republicans. And we need to do something about it, and that means bringing those skills, those stories, and those spaces and the information we have in them. I'd like to invite you to come with me, to join me in trying to make a difference in society. That means not just looking at the room where it happens, but being in the room where it happens. I hope that you will take that step with me, and I'll be there alongside you. Thank you.
Dr. Stein, everybody. Nice. I was reading, we had some speakers send in comments. One was, this was your first ever speech without a slideshow.
That is correct.
How did it go? What did you think of that?
I survived. You missed a data point or two, but I got at least one in.
I love that. And that is one of the challenges today, is this is unique in that it's just a story and there's nothing you can use to kind of support that. You did mention about telling stories and how important that was. What, to the audience, what would be a key to a good story?
I think the key to a good story is showing really that your own personal experience, that you're able to reflect your own emotions. Because I'm an engineer, I don't really think about emotions very much. I'm sure that's not surprising to many of you who is, I like analysis, I like facts and figures, I like my trains to run on time. Thank you, engineer in the back row. And but for those who do what I call, who can bring that, what I call fuzzy-wuzzy stuff.
Right.
That's really what touches people's hearts. And that's what I learned I spent 30 years in DC before I came to Carnegie Mellon to become a professor in engineering public policy. And what I learned in those 30 years is how much emotion and stories make a difference. And yet that's not what they taught me in engineering school. But I think they should have taught me that.
Definitely a great skill to have. Dr. Stein, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful message. All right, we're going to have our next speaker to bring home the first half of the season here. We have the founder of the Friendship Strategist. Julie Cantaloupe-Kirsch started her career as a landscape architect, designing master plans for the Army and Air Force installations. Please welcome Julie Kirsch, everybody.
When I was a little girl, I loved ballet. The costumes, the stage, the lights. On stage, I felt really confident. But off stage, I was really shy. In fact, I was so shy that I wouldn't even talk to my friends' parents or even answer the telephone. It was really difficult. What I thought at the time, that confidence is something you're born with or even given. But what I have learned is that confidence is something that is built, moment by moment, experience by experience, to build a foundation of confidence. When I was in 3rd grade, I was playing at my parents' swing set. It was an idyllic setting, rolling green grass, wooded lawn. I was playing with my girlfriend on the monkey bars. And instead of taking the monkey bars one at a time, I decided to jump for the furthest bar. And I fell on the ground. And I thought, well, that didn't go as planned, as my arm is writhing in pain. Later that night, after having to convince my parents it was actually broken, we're at the ER getting a cast on my arm. One additional problem, I had a ballet recital later that week. Did I sit out? Heck no. I got a pink cast to match my pink tutu, and I performed anyways. That was one of my first building blocks of confidence. Now, fast forward to senior year of high school, volleyball tryouts. Now, if you pause and look at me, I'm 5'3" on a good day. What business did I have playing volleyball? We were a really good team, poised to make another run for the state championship. The girls were taller and stronger than me, but there was one drill that solidified everything for me. I remember standing at the back of the court with my coach up by the net with a bag full of balls. She was going to throw the balls everywhere, and your goal was to get to every single ball. Back court, up at the net, cross court. Now, I said the girls were more experienced, and they were tougher than me. There was only 4 spots that year, because the girls were more experienced. I was fighting really hard for these spots. But what they didn't have was the grit and determination to get to every ball. I was able to do that and solidify my spot on the team that year. Another building block of the foundation of confidence. Here's what I've learned. Confidence really isn't about the monkey bars or the volleyballs. It's about something bigger. It's about how you can use all these little moments to build your confidence. Today, I speak and coach about the power of networking, connection, and relationship building. People think I've always been confident, but what they don't see is the shy girl in the ballet studio, the girl with the broken arm that performed anyways, or the short kid in the back of the court chasing for every ball. And that volleyball drill, it's still going on today, and the balls are flying in the air. I have 2 small young sons, a full-time marketing career, and have founded a business based on always-on networking. Sometimes I feel like I'm still standing at the back of that court, and I have 2 choices: freeze or chase. I encourage you to chase one thing that scares you this week. Maybe it's a promotion you really want, a difficult conversation you have to have, or maybe you feel like the smallest person in the room. Because confidence is not built when the ball comes straight towards you. It's when you run for the back corner and get the ball anyways, even if you scrape your knee. It's when you jump for the furthest monkey bar, because even if you fall, you can get back up and get a pink cast to match your version of your pink tutu. I encourage you to think about your moments that have built your confidence, because this is how I've gone from the shy girl in the ballet studio to the woman with the mic. Thank you.
Julie Kirsch, everybody.
Thank you.
Well, I have to say, sitting out at NSA is clearly not an option. Everybody plays hurt, injured. It's just what we do.
Yeah, we do.
I did want to ask you, what made you create the Friendship Strategist?
It's because I was a career switcher myself. I went from being a landscape architect to a marketer. Now, those are very different things, but I had to be able to network and translate my skills and tell my story to be able to make that change. Now I teach and coach people on those same skill sets.
And this is a great, Julie, we didn't plan this, but we are going to take a 15-minute break, which is always a great time to network. We are new friends here at NSA Pittsburgh. What advice would you give to this group to network over the next 15 minutes?
Be brave and say hello to one new person.
All right, there you go. Everybody, be brave. Say hello to one new person. Give it up for Miss Julie Kirsch.
Thank you.
This person is a self-employed as an athlete and speaker. He is a right leg amputee and has had the privilege of representing Team USA in not one, but 2 Paralympic Games. Please welcome to the stage, Eric McIlvaney.
We are in Hawaii. All right, I'm going to need your imagination a little bit on this one. We're in Hawaii. I'm 132 miles into a race. This race is the Ironman Triathlon World Championships. It's a 2.4-mile swim, followed by a 112-mile bike ride, followed by a marathon, 26.2 miles. I wish that I could say that things were going well, but that would be a complete lie. I'm in physical pain. I got that side cramp that you get. My hips hurt, my feet hurt, my left foot hurts. So I'm a right leg amputee, that foot does not hurt. Also, I'm running out of energy. With only 8 miles left in this race, my body has given up. It reaches its limit. I sit down on the side of the road. This is not where I want to be. But I do what any great athlete would do. I take my leg off, set it next to me, and then I eat a peanut butter and jelly Uncrustable sandwich. It's just the fuel of champions. So I'm sitting there munching on my sandwich, hanging out with my leg. We're having a moment in Hawaii when I realize I need to get up and start moving towards this finish line. So I grab my prosthetic leg. I go to put it on, and it doesn't fit. I look down at my swollen limb, defeated. I want to quit. Every part of me wants to quit. In that moment in Hawaii, that's not the beginning of the story. This story starts 22 months prior to that. On a cold December morning in the Helmand province of Afghanistan, I was serving as a U.S. Marine officer on a patrol. On this patrol, I stepped on an IED. I triggered an explosion underneath my right foot. I remember the experience, violent force, the ringing in my ears, life in slow motion. The burning pain. My Marines take care of me. They get me out of there. Within 40 minutes, I'm into surgery. I wake up after that surgery, missing my right leg. This is my new challenge. And this is where everybody can relate to my story. Everybody faces challenge. Our challenges look different. But what defines us is not the challenge that we're facing. What defines us is our response. I remember the early days in the hospital. I was feeling sorry for myself. Why me? Why this? It was a child's perspective and an email that pulled me away from that thinking. My daughter, her name is Lupe. She was 5 years old when I was injured. It's about this big. My wife sat her down and told her what had happened. Her response, she smiles. And she says, Daddy is going to be home for Christmas. I love that. That was her being grateful for what she had. She still had her father. This helped me realize what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for my family, for her, my 2 other kids, my wife. I'm grateful that I still have my left leg. This thing rocks. What in your life are you grateful for? Now, 2 weeks after the injury, I'm laying in my hospital bed. I get an email from Afghanistan. My commanding officer, eagerly, I open it up, I read it. It says, Eric, let me know when you're going to run your first marathon. I remember reading this email and just thinking to myself, wow, what a jerk. But this is what I needed to hear. Because of this email, this is why I set a goal to finish an Ironman triathlon. This goal inspired me. It gives me the chills to think about. Have you ever had a goal that actually inspires you? Because for me, this is motivation to wake up in the morning and to pursue it. Pursue it with a passion, and that we did. Fast forward 22 months, we're at the World Championships. Ironman, Kona, Hawaii, 8 miles left. Yeah, I'm on the side of the road. But who cares? I got 2 things. I got gratitude. I'm grateful for this opportunity, for the people that helped me get there, grateful for life, and I have a goal. And because of that, I'm going to finish this race. So I lean back, I let my heart rate come down, elevate my limb, and I grab my prosthetic, jam it on, and start moving towards this finish line one step at a time. 11 hours and 54 minutes into this race, I come busting across that finish line, arms up, in triumph. I cannot put the emotions into words. It felt so good that moment. I want everybody to experience a finish line. It doesn't have to be in a race. Finish lines aren't just for athletes. They're for anybody who refuses to stay down. So next challenge that you face, remember, find gratitude, set a goal. I can't wait to see your next finish line. Thank you.
Eric McIlvaney, everybody.
Thanks.
There was a special moment. I was looking out at the crowd, and could you, for gratitude, introduce you of your family with us today?
Yeah, so I have my beautiful wife, Rachel. She's my rock. My son, Will. Go ahead, Will, stand up for us. And there's my daughter, Elise. Now, Lupe, who I talked about, is now 19 years old and lives in Florida. So I have to call her after to let her know how this went because I talk about her so much. She's such a special person.
Well, and I have you, Will has got some great pictures of Dad up here on stage. I saw you had the camera out. He's so proud of you. You know, it comes to being grateful. It's easy to talk about, but could you talk a little bit about putting it into practice and what that looks like?
Yeah, I think it's the first habit of a resilient person is when things are getting hard and life hits to focus on what you are grateful for in your life. And it could turn into a real habit where it just starts happening. So when I'm having a rough day, I think about them. I think about my family. My parents are here. My friends are here. So many people are so important to me. And I'm blessed and grateful.
Excellent. Give it up for Eric McIlvaney, everybody. Thank you so much. Yeah. And Eric does remind us that the importance of family and having good friends. And so for all of you, the NSA family, we truly look at that. When you walk through our doors, we would say that you wouldn't know who our members are because we treat everybody like family when they walk through. Our next speaker is the Director of Athletic Performance and Wellness at the Greater Pittsburgh Sports Complex and the creator of the Stress Recovery Game Plan. He's an athletic trainer who helps people recover from stress, not just injuries. Please welcome Mr. Derek Clark.
I learned something the morning after my mom died. Grief can be enormous and still demand something as normal as asking, what am I going to wear? I woke up in my parents' house, and it was the first time in my life that I woke up there, and my mom wasn't going to be there. No smell of coffee brewing in the kitchen. No Good Morning America on the TV. Just silence. I woke up early, got in my car, and started driving back to Pittsburgh to grab clothes for the services. It was early, cool, gray light. The roads were empty. And that's the part people don't warn you about when it comes to grief. The world keeps moving, even when yours stops. My hands were on the wheel, but it didn't feel like I was driving because grief doesn't ask permission. It just takes the wheel. Have you ever experienced that? When your mind won't stay in one lane? Sad, angry, heartbroken, numb. Like you're there, but you really aren't. That's where I was at that morning, and it was because of 20 straight months of life coming at me. Open heart surgery. Then I lost my dog, Coda. Then the relationship I thought was going to be my last ended. And if that wasn't enough, surgery for prostate cancer, too. Yeah, I was living a real-life country song. At one point, I gripped the wheel so hard my hands hurt, and I said out loud, "I am so sick of this shit!" When life is coming at you like that, the most dangerous thought shows up. Why is this happening to me? Because pain is hard, but powerlessness is worse. You ever felt that? In the middle of that chaos, I hired a coach, but Kelly Watson ended up being more than a coach. She was a lifeline. Like a lighthouse, she was the light that I needed. She would forever change the way I see things with 3 simple words. Flip the coin. Meaning in every loss, there is a win. In every negative situation, a positive. Flip the coin. I hated that initially because I hate losing. I hate losing way more than I love winning, so there'll never be any kind of positive or win that could come out of a loss. But at that point, I was open to anything, so we practiced it. And somehow through it all, I started to find meaning. Maybe life wasn't happening to me. Maybe it was happening for me. And right there in my car, 3 words popped into my head. Flip the coin. I swear it didn't even feel like my thought. It felt like my mom was sitting next to me in the passenger seat and said what she always said when she first saw me. "Hey, bud." She always said it like that. "Hey, bud." And in my head, it was as she turned and looked and said, "Hey, bud, enough. Not enough grief. Enough spiraling." So right there, driving in silence, I made a decision. If I could flip the coin on this, I could take the wheel back. And the first flip hit me hard. I didn't lose my mom. I had my mom for 48 years. 2 of my best friends lost their moms when we were younger, one at 18 and the other at 30. And I had my mom for the combined amount of time those 2 incredible people had with theirs. Then the second flip came. My mom didn't lose her battle with dementia. She won. Dementia is cruel, but my mom didn't spend years trapped in unbearable suffering while we stood there helpless. She was freed. And the last flip came, the one that changed me. Because that night, we were with her. Me, my dad, my sister. My mom loved music, and we knew the time was drawing near. So through the tears, we were playing and singing all her favorite songs. Then my sister asked, "Dad, what was your song?" And he said they never really had one, but he remembered the first song they ever danced to, so we played it. "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me" by Mel Carter. And it was after one of the choruses in the middle of that song where my mom took her final breath and said goodbye. It didn't feel real. You can't write that. That wasn't just loss. That was love. And in that moment, it became clear. You may not always get to choose what happens in your life, but you do get to choose what it means. So next time you find yourself asking, "Why is this happening to me?" It's time to flip the coin. Thank you.
Derek Clark, everybody.
Thank you.
I've got to find your dad's here today. I know. Where's your dad? Must
3
be.
rows up.
He must be so proud of you for just a wonderful story. And I have to ask you, flip the coin. You can't use props in this competition. Do you have one of the coins?
Always.
Always. So we show everybody.
It's always on.
Derek has a nice. If you want to tell everybody about it.
So I was trying to figure out ways to convey this message to the students I was working with at Quaker Valley. And I was giving them quarters at first because that's all I had in the drawer. And I was like, well, that doesn't mean anything. That quarter's nothing, right? They could just spend it. So I just came up with this little wooden nickel that says current thought on one side and the other side on the other that sits, well, it's in my pocket at all times. It can be in my car, wherever. It's just a reminder. And even though I talk about this, my dad can attest to this, my sister and my aunt and uncle can attest to this, I still need reminded quite a bit, even having this in my pocket, that there are a lot of times where, it's very difficult to do that, but if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you, and those moments are things that, as you can hear from every one of our speakers, they're character builders, and they're things that can improve your life.
And one last question, get to you a little bit about your preparation for today.
Yeah, I was when I was in the January meeting and they mentioned about it, I was like, well, this would be a great opportunity to get this message out about my mom. And so, I have a speaking coach, and I reached out to him. He thought it was a great idea through past my dad as my buffer for a lot of decisions. He thought it was a great idea, and so just started putting in the work and trying to find different ways to take a longer story and condense it down, which is, all the speakers will say, it's a little difficult to get everything in 5 minutes. So, yeah.
All right, Mr. Derek Clark, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
I did just want to highlight our contestants. They've been preparing for months for today's competition, just to give you some behind the scenes of the effort that goes on in the kitchens, the living rooms, and even the cars at that place. Our next contestant is a speaker, author, and owner of Shifts Show Communication. By the time she left education, Jennifer worked with over 10,000 students as both a teacher and a principal. Please welcome to the stage Jennifer Eisenreich.
The smell of finger paint drying on shiny paper hits like a time machine. That powdery, plasticky smell. Remember how your fingers would slide through the clear color, creating wet spirals until the paper puckered? You'd scoop and swirl, certain if you just kept going, eventually that picture in your little mind would finally appear on the page. That's the thing about kids. They don't write reports about their feelings. They swirl those suckers around with crayons kept in cookie tins, smelly markers, and paint. Every little line is an interpretation of the way they view something in the world. As a career principal, I was pretty good at interpreting artwork. I could give a stick figure a full psychological exam. I knew what I was looking at. So on Mother's Day 2002, when my precious preschool daughter presented me with a finger-painted portrait entitled My Mommy by Alexa, I was thrilled and ready to read between some lines. Let's see. Yellow sun, green grass, chocolate pudding, swirly brown hair. She's observant. She gave me eyelashes like butterflies, a big red smile, and even captured some pretty specific details for a preschooler. High heels, a chunky necklace, my arms, my legs, a dress, a tail. What I said was, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Look at me, look at me, look at me. This is going in a frame. What I thought was, there's something wrong. What does a tail mean? Something's wrong. I had seen big, toothy mouths and scary eyes and freaky hands. I knew what those meant. But a tail, was this like a waggy mom tail? Oh my God, my dress was red. Was I the devil? That night, I tucked Alexa in, kissed her goodnight, went to bed, and laid awake for hours. The butterflies on my eyelashes turned to rocks in my stomach. I had spent years interpreting kids' artwork, and I was sure I had discovered something terrible about myself that day. I worried for weeks. That summer, one morning after pancakes, I noticed Alexa admiring her artwork, which was in a frame. So I scooched over to her to let her know how much I, too, admired her art. Oh, honey, I just love my brown hair. I love my high heels, and I even love my tail. She looked at me deadpan like I was nuts. Oh, Mommy, that's not a tail. I gave you 3 arms because you give so much hugs. I used every arm I had to wrap around her little body. I inhaled the smell of her hair and her sticky, syrupy hands. My eyes filled with tears of relief. I had been worried for weeks because I looked at a stroke of paint on a paper and used it to create a story that something was wrong with me. I wish I could tell you that was the last time I looked at a line and called it a tale. The truth is, all of us entertain our assumptions all day, every day. We look at things like a glance across a table, a message delivered during a meeting, a text sent with no punctuation, silence. It's time for us to stop believing every story we tell ourselves about every line we see. Because the truth is, sometimes that thing we are just sure is a tail is actually another arm for hugs. Thanks.
Jen Eisenreich, everybody.
Thank you.
If I had 3 arms right now, I love the message. We don't always see things a certain way. How did you select this story? Because I know, growing up, you were always a storyteller. What was it about this story you wanted to tell today?
Well, to be honest, I looked so hard for a big story, but I haven't climbed Mount Everest. I haven't had something really difficult, fortunately, to overcome. And I wanted to reach for something that really people would really relate to. And we can all attest to the fact that we've looked at one thing and made it another thing in our mind. So that's how I picked it.
I love it. I want to go home. I want to get finger paint. All right, give it up for Jen Eisenreich, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, everybody, we are cruising right along. We actually have, this is going to be our last competitor for today, and then we're going to have just a little short moment to get Mr. Sam Weeder set up. But I'd like to welcome to the stage, this person is the owner of business name Appeal. The title of this talk is The Parking Lot Moment. An interesting tidbit in one sentence is that some of the best leadership lessons didn't come from the boardroom, they came from the ballroom dance floor. Please welcome Elizabeth Dr. E. Carter.
January 10th, 2003. I'm sitting in my car, parked way in the back, in the dark, in the cold. I'm repeating these words to myself. Go in, go home. Go in, go home. Do I lean into discomfort, or do I retreat back to home, hiding out, maintaining ease? What if they don't like me? What if I don't like them? As the questions rolled through my mind, I grabbed the steering wheel tighter and tighter. I was shaking, not because I was, but because I was freezing. It was January in upstate New York, questioning your life choices cold. I see shadows of people walking into the building. The meeting starts soon. Now walking in late would draw attention to me, and I didn't want that. But that would be the perfect excuse to go home. No, that's the easy way out. Now, who could I call for advice? Today, if you need a quick answer, that's pretty easy. ChatGPT. But this was 2003, where if you wanted advice, you had to talk to another human being. Ugh. We all have that person. Supportive, honest, sometimes painfully honest. That person, for me, was my dad. Dad, help. I'm in the car freezing. I need a few pep words before I go inside. Why are you still in the car? I'm overthinking it, Daddy. Well, you know, you did move to upstate New York, far from family, far from comfort. Yes, I know I did. Elizabeth, that is fear of growth. Just go in. Thank you, Daddy. I love you. I unbuckled my seatbelt, grabbed my bag, and went inside. And in that moment, I chose growth over comfort. You see, this wasn't a board meeting, a support group, an interview, or anything remotely dramatic. This was a women's basketball league. And I had never played. Maybe back in elementary school, but that was 100 years ago. The flyer said, friendly group, all skill levels welcome. And for me, living in upstate New York, without family or friends, I needed that. The women were amazing. Some were actually worse players than me, which was great. The first night, I took one really great shot, and it went over the basket, over the wall, into the bleachers. Oh, I wanted to just die. But instead of laughing, they passed me the ball again. And between many more missed shots and post-game conversations, these women slowly became my family. But it wouldn't have been possible if I had chosen to go home that cold January night. Going home would have protected me, but it would have kept me from growing. So I ask all of you, what is your current parking lot moment where you're frozen between going in or going home? The decision sometimes isn't that complicated. You just go in. Thank you.
Dr. Elizabeth, Dr. E. Carter, everybody.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a question about taking that next step, because it can be hard for people to get out of their comfort zone. How would you encourage somebody that's on the fence?
Well, just to share a story, I had thyroid surgery about 4 weeks ago. So my parking lot moment was actually in the parking lot about whether to come in and compete or not. So for me, it is, what do you have to lose? We're not doing surgeries here. We're not going to die. Let's just go in, because you never know what you'll expect. You'll never know who you'll touch, who you'll move, who gets someone thinking. So I always think of everything as an opportunity, whether I have a voice or not.
For Dr. E, everybody, thank you so much for being here. And that, believe it or not, it went so fast. That is our last contestant that is in the competition. So can we give all of our contestants one more round of applause? It is a pleasure to introduce Sam Weeder. For over 30 years, Sam was one of the original members of this NSA chapter, a speaking and success coach for many years, he has moved on to become a musical motivational storyteller. Combining the power of storytelling with the magic of music, Sam delivers entertaining presentations that inspire his listeners to achieve their potential. Today, he will share a small sample of how he does this. Please join me in welcoming the musical storyteller, Sam Weeder.
I'll bet that each of you has at least one story about how you experienced stress in your life. Here's one of mine. When I was young, I loved to run out in the open air. I felt as free as I could be, not a worry or a care. Like early man so long ago, I kept on moving in a natural flow. With a caveman body so lean and fit, with a caveman body that wouldn't quit. As time moved on, I got a job, working 9 to 5. Stuck all day behind a desk, feeling only half alive. The fluorescent lights flickered as I read, like a lightning storm above my Cro-Magnon head. On my caveman body that was losing its tone, my caveman body in the twilight zone. After a while I began to wonder just how it could be that a so-called cushy office job was draining all the life out of me. Yes, it was draining all the life out of me. But then one day my boss said, hey, stay planted in your seat. Pick up the pace, we're in a race, here's a deadline you must meet. So I cranked myself into overdrive. Flooded with adrenaline, I felt alive. While my caveman body soaked up all the stress, while my caveman body was a total mess. Boop boop ba doo ba doo bop bop ba doo bop boop ba doo ba doo ba doo bow. From all that rush, my brain was mush. I could barely think. My back was sore, my neck was stiff, my eyes a shade of pink. Out of my office cave, I'd slowly crawl. I was one exhausted Neanderthal. With a caveman body could hardly move, with a caveman body that had lost its groove. If this was evolution at my modern office job, how had my rockin' caveman body become a prehistoric blob? Now, you might wonder how I survived that experience. Fortunately, I finally listened to my chiropractor, who offered me this sage advice. You've got to wake up and win. The way you're working is truly a sin. You gotta wake up, stand up and move, for if you sit too long, you're gonna lose your groove. Of course, you may not even realize just how often you feel whipped as your back and neck become a total wreck from the stressful way you sit. Command a power posture as you're working 9 to 5. Stretch away the tension and you'll really feel alive, oh yeah. But if you don't, can't you see? You're messing with your biology. You've got to wake up, your brain's in a fog. You can't just sit there like a bump on a log. You gotta wake up, snap out of your trance. You're not on vacation in the south of France. But as you stare at your computer screen and your eyes begin to glaze, you're in suspended animation as your mind is in a haze. Oof. It's time to clear your mental screen and give your eyes a rest to rekindle your ability to function at your best. For if you don't, can't you see? You're messing with your mentality. You've got to wake up and win. It's time to escape that spin you're in. You gotta wake up. And you'll go far as you find a way to raise the bar and discover how to shine like the star you are when you wake up and win. Thank you.
Well, Sam, can I ask you, when did you start with music? Was it years ago as a child, or when did you pick it up?
I really took piano lessons from like first grade through seventh or so, gave it up for a long time, didn't do anything with it for most of my adult life. Then there was this piano sitting in my apartment. I thought, why don't I play that? And from there, I started writing music, and I've got a whole selection of songs I do for a show. So this is a taste of it all.
Well, you put both the speaking talent and the talent of playing the piano, because it's a hard thing to do. Mr. Sam Weeder, everybody. Nice job. Now, I'll go to the audience. We have a couple minutes here. Does anybody want to talk about their performance at all, how you felt about it? Did anybody? I did great. You want to? Yes.
I just really appreciated the crowd interaction. You know, I like how you laugh at some of my jokes and some of you are head nodding. That helps me as a speaker. So thanks for coming out and being part of that and doing that. Wouldn't have been the same without.
I have a question for everybody, because it is hard to pick one story. Did anybody have a very, like, was it close for anybody as far as like what the next story would have been? Do you have a title that you're thinking of that would have been like, I almost told this story? I do. Yeah.
I have something that I struggle with, and I think it was our last speaker that was in for the last session that we had that made me shift what I was thinking, just based off of his story and how moving it was. We're really fortunate at NSA to have the best speakers come in and work with us. So.
Yeah, it is. You have, like, how do you tell just one story? And so many people I know have 30-minute, 45-minute programs that they probably tell 5, 6 stories within that hour. So it's to come up with just one thing to do. And we have our great president. Look, he's up there calculating the odds. How is it up here? Are we confident? Are we nervous? Does anybody think they won? Can I ask, like, who thinks they won? Because one of the great things about this is that we all walk away with the prize, and that's our speaker reel. And anybody that's a speaker knows how important that is. So.
We all do. 8-way time.
Okay, now that we're all winners, who does anybody? I always ask my students. I work with high school groups, and I give them. I like that you said it's all a group. I also try to get them to think about, like, did they feel like they did enough to win? And I ask them that, like, did you do enough that you felt like you were going to win? And sometimes they give you different. So does anybody? What do we think? We'll go right down the line. Do you think you won?
I think I won just because I made it through an entire presentation for the first time without using slides and standing alone on a stage without a podium. And, you know, I give about maybe 50 talks a year, but I don't do them like this.
Nothing like this.
So, like, I really did not even know there was a competition when I signed up, to be honest. I just did it because I wanted the practice and I wanted the video. So hopefully somebody will actually hire me and pay me to do this kind of talk.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go, Dr. E. What do you?
I'm all about the video too. I've spent thousands for video reels, so what we've paid for this and the audience is well worth it. So it doesn't matter to me how I
doesn't matter. So if you win, you want to pass it on. Derek, what do you think?
More about the process than the outcome.
Okay. All right. More taken away. The process.
I liked watching the other speakers. I don't get to do that a lot, so I picked up on a few things that I'm going to steal from you. All right?
Mark, nobody wants to win. We'll give it a couple more. We got 3 left.
I win because I have such a sweet group of friends with my husband who are here, and I think it's just been wonderful to have you. Thank you for being so supportive, and I would like to thank everybody who came to support someone.
And what's your husband's first name?
Scott.
Scott, we see you up there. Just to give you a little insight, Scott, next year we're going to have an off-take to this event. We're going to let the spouses do the exact same speech, okay? And we're going to see, Scott, how well the listening happens, you know?
I'm going to say I win. Anytime I'm with NSA, I win. So.
Oh, I love it. And Julie?
I mostly wanted to keep speaking. I didn't want to get off the stage. I could have kept going for the hour.
Oh, right. And Mr. President, that's why I always keep the microphone, because speakers, they'll take over. But there you go, Mr. President.
Well, I wanted to speak on behalf of the judges first to thank everybody for being here today. So one more time for all of the speakers. You guys made this event fantastic, each and every one of you. And your speeches were all terrific. And you made it super, super, super hard. I think I can speak for the other judges to choose. Now, I was telling everyone here that the winner today becomes our chapter champion and gets a trophy that I have left up above, and my wife is now bringing. Thank you, Diane. I might be a little preoccupied. The scoring was very difficult. Now, another thing to know is that our chapter champion goes on to compete against another dozen chapter champions in the regionals for NSA. And the 3 regional winners, that is the East, Central, and West winners, all compete on stage in Austin, Texas, coming up this July at our national convention for NSA. So, part of that is that the speakers' entries that we're sending in have to be no more than 5 minutes. So if any of our speakers went over 5 minutes, even by 10 seconds, and we did have that happen, a speaker then can't be considered to be the chapter champion. The rules are very, very strict about that. So I wanted to let you folks know that we loved every speech, and all of them were terrific, and it was super hard. And in fact, our winner and our runner-up are separated by 1/2 of a point. So I'm going to pass this over to Brad and let him do the announcement of our runner-up and winner.
Okay.
Here you go.
Wow.
Come to the middle of
All right, I'll come to the middle of the stage. Let's see what we got here. This is our second place. This is second place, right? Okay, we don't want to mess this up. Okay, our second place with a final score of 203 points is Jen Eisenreich. Oh, come on. We have Jen Eisenreich, runner-up, and Jen have to always ask, what does this moment mean to you?
Thank you. It's wonderful. Thank you.
All right, give it up for Jen, everybody. Uh-oh. Leslie, this is the big folder here. This is, by their body language, who do you think won? Do you think some of them are feeling good? They look like it. This is a score of 203.5 points. This is the narrowest margin in NSA Pittsburgh last story standing history and probably will last for many years to come. For 1/2 point, a huge congratulations to Julie Kirch. Julie, here's your trophy, and would you like to have a message to the audience?
Thank you to my friends and family. That's genuinely how you can do it all. How I genuinely had this story about I was really shy and not confident, but all these people and moments truly do help build your confidence and support you along the way. So thank you.
You are now the champion of Last Story Standing 2026. Congratulations, Julie. Congratulations to all the contestants. We hope you had a wonderful day here with us. Thank you, everybody, for a wonderful day.
What a wonderful opportunity to come and see amazing storytellers and speakers in person. And they really had an impact. Some of these stories are going to stay with me, and I'm going to be thinking about them. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. As a therapist for over 30 years, I'm very tuned into emotion and people that think intuitively, and I just felt a lot of that energy today about feeling motivated, feeling inspired by some of the heartstrings that were pulled today, and people facing incredibly difficult circumstances and how they rose above and beyond and above. So it really, I could tell too with the people I was sitting, and we all had those moments throughout the speeches today. So it was really kind of exciting and a proud moment to just be knowing that I've been part of the NSA family, and I feel like I always will be. And so yes, it was a really, really awesome day. NSA Pittsburgh's Last Story Standing was fabulous.
This is just wonderful, inspiring entertainment of real life that can affect your life. I was a past president of National Speakers Association, and so to come back and enjoy these really fascinating stories was a treasure. For speakers, the idea of having a reel is critical. This is such an amazing opportunity to be in front of a live audience, get the footage, get their energy, and get their smiles and their applause. So if you are thinking about being a professional speaker, you absolutely need a video on your website. And if you don't have it, you really should be on this stage. It's professional, you need all the camera angles, and this is what you need to do if you haven't done it.
I am so excited. I am very appreciative of the chapter of giving us this venue, this format. I also love how we took it so seriously. It's very important to all of us speakers. I put a lot of time and effort into it, and it was wonderful to be able to showcase my talents. My story is all about how I was this really shy girl when I was growing up, and these moments that impacted me to build my confidence, such as performing on a ballet recital with a broken arm, or trying to make the volleyball team when I'm only 5'3", and really overcoming adversity. This event was immensely helpful because of the opportunity to get professional speaking reel, professional video, speaking in front of a live audience. These are rare moments when it all comes together, and having this really great opportunity. I would encourage anybody to do it because even if it's scary, this is your opportunity in a very safe space to tell your story, practice, get in front of a live audience, and really showcase your thoughts. Coming and watching is such a good idea because all of these speakers are professional. They have really good stories that are extremely meaningful, so it's entertaining just as an attendee to come. I just encourage anybody to do it because I thought to myself when I was really afraid to do this, that they always say do one thing that scares you. I was really scared to do this. And because I put in the time and effort, that just means you care a lot. So try it. Even if it's scary, craft your story because this could be a really great future opportunity for you.